Marc Stein tweeted out the Wizards have emerged as a legitimate potential trade destination for Atlanta's Trae Young. They've learned in a deal construction centered around CJ McCollum's expiring contract. More to come as we're only about a month away right now from the NBA trade deadline. Trae Young, certainly one of the young players that took this league over the minute he walked into Atlanta, has had so many signature moments in his career. We'll never forget him shushing the Garden crowd. But Caroline, it doesn't matter for the Hawks at this point. They're not winning any damn games. So obviously, as we look at this trade deadline opportunity, well, the Hawks are trying to figure out how to build their team. Is this sort of at this point, when you hear that the Wizards are an emerging trade partner here, do you like this? Do you not like this? Where are you on it?
It makes sense from the Hawks' perspective. When the Hawks didn't offer Trae Young an extension this past summer, I think we kind of saw the writing on the wall. We probably thought that it was inevitable that Trae Young's time in Atlanta was going to come to a close. So it does make sense. And the fact that Atlanta wants to move forward, they want to build around their young core in Jalen Johnson. No longer are they building around the core of Trae Young. So that makes sense for Atlanta. Now, the Wizards, I love that for the Wizards, because what in the world have Wizards fans had to be excited about over the last decade? Like, what has been exciting about that organization? What has been inspiring about that franchise? What has anyone who is a Wizards fan woken up on any given day and saying, you know what, I am so proud to be a Wizards fan because of this? So that makes sense for the Wizards. And what you get in Trae Young is some offensive fireworks, at least some excitement, a superstar in the league coming into Washington and wearing your uniform. But for Trae Young, I wonder what he wants. Because all reports make it sound, at least, and I know that's an agent's job, is to make things sound like everything is all sunshine and rainbows, but at least it sounds that things are amicable, that the Hawks are looking at it and saying, look, we want to make sure that you are taken care of and you get what you want, Trae Young, which I think is the right way to approach this. When a superstar has done so much for your organization, it's exactly what Trae Young has done for the Hawks. So do you think Trae Young would say, yeah, that's what I really want, is to go to the Washington Wizards, a team that is just totally in the depths of the NBA? Is that what Trae Young wants? If I'm Trae Young, I'm looking around at a team that could upgrade offensively. I'm looking at a team that could be in a position to win games right now. Maybe they're just one, offensive piece away from doing it. The Wizards are a Trae Young and then some away from even being exciting or relevant.
The problem here, all right, there's an old SNL.
He does look nice in that uniform, though.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. It's fine. There's an old SNL skit called Debbie Downer, right? And every time everybody said anything, Debbie Downer was in the corner and just made the Downer statement, and the horn went, wah, wah. I'm Debbie Downer to every trade. And I know that I'm Debbie Downer to every trade. I just was asked everybody, what the hell's the point? Like, I hear you. It gives the Wizards fans something to look forward to. Well, part of the reason that he's going to be traded by the Hawks is because when he's on the floor with the Hawks, they suck. So what is this going to fix? In fact, this year with Trae Young, they're 2-8. Without Trae Young, they're 15-13. So Atlanta, who's not particularly good, is demonstrably better without Trae Young on the court. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense to a lot of us, but it's just the truth of the way it's playing out. So if you're the Wizards, congratulations. Your team sucks, and now you can acquire a player that, yes, while a superstar, is so bad for another team on the court with the results that they're willing to give him up. Not only are they willing to give him up, according to multiple reports, they might even be willing to throw in high draft picks as an additional incentive. Like, hey, please, we'll take CJ McCollum's expiring contract while you guys take Trae. We'll even give you draft picks. I'm Debbie Down. This trade it sucks. All right, it's not going to make the Hawks any better. It's not going to make the Wizards any better. Guess what? Your teams are not going to get better this year. So what are you doing? Like, what if you're Atlanta, getting rid of Trae Young, is that really going to make everything suddenly sunshine and roses? Or are you still going to be in the midst of a rebuild trying to figure out what your roster really should look like? And if that's the case, all right, congratulations. You get CJ McCollum. Huzzah. I'm sure the city of Atlanta will be doing cartwheels for that and what it means for your non-competitive team. Or you could take the Wizards side of it and say, guess what? You finally get your superstar. There you got Trae Young. You might sell some jerseys. Great, you might sell some jerseys. You're certainly not getting a player that single-handedly could will a franchise to victory, because if he could do that, he'd be doing that in Atlanta. This all just sucks to me.
But wasn't he doing that?
I mean, can't anymore. He did. He's only 27. You would think,
He's 27. He's averaging 19 points a game. CJ McCollum is the Wizards' leading scorer, and he's averaging 18. Look at the Wizards roster. They got a bunch of Scarbini nobodies. Caroline Fenton is on the Wizards box score at this point. Jason Fitz is on the Wizards box score at this point because they don't have anyone else. I don't think Trae Young woke up one day and all of a sudden was a crap bum player who couldn't play basketball. I just think the Hawks evolved around Trae Young, and Trae Young just no longer fits that system. Trae Young is just no longer the focal point of that organization. The Wizards stink. So to say, what's the point? Well, what's the point? You get a really good player who has had experience carrying a franchise before. Is he still that same player? Maybe not. But he's a hell of a lot better than anybody else the Wizards have on that roster. So a rebuild has to start somewhere. Getting better, the path to getting better has to start somewhere. And if you're the Hawks, getting something in return for Trae Young is better than getting nothing. His contract is up next year. So if you have a trade partner that's willing to give up pieces in exchange for Trae Young, don't you think you want to make that move?
I look at it like this. If I'm the Wizards and I'm looking around and I'm saying, oh my God, the Hawks are so incompetent that they can't build around Trae Young. That's the only, there's one of two answers here. Either Trae Young isn't him anymore, or the Hawks are too incompetent to build around him. If the Hawks are too incompetent to build around Trae Young, do I believe the Wizards are more competent than Atlanta? No, I mean, nothing. They're in this position because they poorly run a basketball team. In fact, I spent some time last night looking at the Reddits and the message boards and all of the rumor mills from Wizards fans. They're more excited about the possible draft equity they could get in this than they are about Trae Young, because they believe all these draft picks are going to be part of their long-term OKC rebuild. So, like, that's where we are. You want to acquire Trae Young because you might get a draft pick with him just to get rid of CJ McCollum's contract. Like, all of this to me is just so wild. It's how the mighty have fallen. And again, you can't tell the story of the last several years of the NBA without talking about Trae in Madison Square Garden. It is one of those landmark moments we will remember. I think Trae Young has accomplished some really great things for Atlanta. I just think that if it's so broken that it can't work in Atlanta, if I'm Trae, the last place I want to go to is an organization that is less functional than Atlanta. We'll keep you updated. There's a lot to go on this. There's plenty of time. We got about a month before the trade deadline. So obviously, we will keep you updated on the latest, greatest news. It looks like Trae is headed somewhere. The question, is it Washington? And if it is Washington, is that a win for anybody, nobody, or everybody? We'll break it down as it happens. But we got more to come to in the Yahoo Sports Daily, including coming up next, Wyndham Clark going to join us. We'll get his thoughts on the TGL happening right now.